I'm James Brown in New York with a reminder a special playoff edition of the NFL Today is next, and we'll get you set for the AFC Championship showdown between the Jaguars and the Patriots. And we'll feature Jacksonville's young stars, Leonard Fournette and Jalen Ramsey. And we'll preview the Vikings-Eagles NFC Championship matchup. Back to NFL Championship chase.
Can you believe this? And is caught for the win! And for all for Sergio. Justin Thomas is the PGA champion. Touchdown, Georgia. North Carolina. Not going to be denied this time.
You wanted big. Well, it doesn't get any bigger than this. Championship Sunday. Tom's Day.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Oh, you're not a fan? Well, you don't have to like the guy, but you cannot ignore the facts. 7 straight AFC Championship games. 5-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Super Bowl MVP, and arguably the best of all time.
Tom Brady stands alone. 5 Super Bowl titles.
But the Jacksonville Jaguars and their monster defense are here too. And they don't care about Tom's Day. They've heard the predictions. They know most of you wanted Pittsburgh, and they've only got one thing to say. Bring it.
We still got 2 more games to play.
Do you hear that? Because it's coming. It's called greatness. And every player on that field has the opportunity to seize it. That's not an opinion. That is a message straight from me. The jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, Championship Sunday. Test the limits of your soul. Leave it all on the line for the Super Bowl. 60 minutes from now, the ultimate AFC battle begins. It is David versus Goliath. Saxonville versus the Hoodie. Both of these teams know how to go big.
Sensational! Can you believe this?
But to have a chance at immortality, the question is, who goes bigger?
A big open for a big game, and in just about an hour from now, the scene will be even bigger in Foxborough, where more than 66,000 fans will be packed into Gillette Stadium awaiting the kickoff of the AFC Championship game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Weather will not be a factor today. As a matter of fact, balmy in New England with temps in the 40s under sunny skies.
And before the game time, you can see Tom Brady walking into the stadium. He's got his right hand in his pocket. I'm telling you guys, he's going to be giving high fives with the other one because he's going to be perfectly fine. Looks like he may be wearing a glove as the game gets started.
Dwayne Johnson, this is for you. Malcolm Butler, here's the rundown. The game plan is to play fast and furious. With the strength of Hercules, the Super Bowl hero hopes to be walking tall after a win today.
That's Leonard Fournette, the 4th overall pick of last year's draft. The rookie, the tone setter, represents toughness for that Jacksonville offense.
And there's Keelan Cole, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need big plays on the offensive side. The good thing is he averages over 17 yards a catch.
And hello, everyone. I'm James Brown. Welcome to the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. It's a special playoff edition. And, folks, we'd like to send out a big thank you to Dwayne Johnson for helping us out with our open today. By the way, he stars in the upcoming film from Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema entitled Rampage Big Meets Bigger. That'll be in theaters April 20th. And stay tuned for a sneak peek of Rampage later in the show. Meanwhile, on the field, the New England Patriots will play in their 7th consecutive AFC Championship game this afternoon. The question is, will Tom Brady and company reach the Super Bowl yet again, or can Blake Bortles and the hungry Jags D pull off the upset? Later today, the Minnesota Vikings, coming off of their miracle win against the Saints, will look to shut down Nick Foles and the Eagles and earn the chance to play at home in Super Bowl 52. And here inside Studio 43, we are joined by our football champions. They will be, of course, Phil Simms, Coach Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, and Boomer Esiason. I know my guys are champing at the bit. They'll get started in just a moment. But first, for the very latest in Foxborough and Tom Brady's hand injury, Let's check in live with our colleagues, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. They'll be calling today's AFC Championship Showdown. Hello, Jim.
Hello there, JB. As you said, it's balmy here. It's beautiful. It's great weather for a quarterback, but all the questions, of course, are surrounding number 12. Like you, we can't wait to see what this is going to look like. We met with Tom on Friday. He wore gloves to our production meeting. He would not get specific as to exactly what the injury was, which happened on Wednesday. He did not practice on Thursday. He was limited on Friday. And again, just as he addressed the media in gloves, that's how he sat down with us as well at the stadium. And he said, guys, I don't want to get exact about this. I will talk about it in all likelihood after the game. But, you know, you've heard the reports. It sounds like it's a cut. There's stitches. That's what people are saying out there. What do you think this is going to mean for Tom out here today? How's he going to play with this?
Well, anything that affects your right hand, you know, if it's on the ball, is actually going to be something that matters. I'm anxious to see him. He's about to come out here to the field shortly and warm up. You know, the anticipation in the building is, you can feel the electricity right now. They want to see him throw. I want to see if he has the same velocity and the same type of just spin on the ball. He's as good a thrower as there is in the National Football League. Today, he's got to be that same guy. I really think this is an incredible test. This defense is outstanding against the pass. Tom Brady has to be at his best, and we need to see it. I mean, I want to see him out here. Come on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we want to see, too, like taking a snap. Would he be able to take hard snaps? You remember what happened with Derek Carr a year ago when he had the broken finger. Different injury this time, but these are kind of the things that are swirling right now before the AFC title game.
100%. And if he's wearing a glove, you know, when was the last time he wore a glove?
2002.
You know, yeah. We're talking 15 years since this guy, and all of a sudden he's going to do it in the AFC title game. Now, if anyone can do it, it's Tom, but it's not ideal. And if you're doing that, it's because something is wrong. It's touching something. You don't want to get the stitches cut. That means it's going to be affecting. You think about it a little bit. We got to see him in warm-ups. This is important.
Well, JB and the crew, as you know, they are so protective of information that gets out of this building. And they've been able to hold on for the exactness of it here for several days. And when he takes the field here shortly, we'll be right back here to show it to you. Back to you in New York.
All right, Jim and Tony, we know that you guys will be on top of all the particulars. We'll check back in with both of you in just a bit. But with all the attention focused on Tom Brady and his hand, Coach, what is your take on
Well, first of all, 12 AFC Championship games, 7 straight, which is unprecedented and historical. When you look at him in those 7 straight appearances, he's also had 6 at home. He's 5-1 in those games. But make note of that. In those 6 games, 3 have gone against top 5 defenses. 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The last 2, he's been spot on, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. But let's just talk about the hand, because in that situation, like you said, we're going to find out about throwing it. But the question I had is, Jim made mention to the ability to take a snap. You're talking about an offense that relies on the quarterback sneak, a big part of 3rd and 1. An offense that relies at the goal line with him under center. You know, you talk about the running game, and I would just say to you, Phil, with his injury, does that affect and limit your running game?
Well, it's really interesting. First off, Jim and Tony saying the information was tied up in New England. I was shocked to hear that. That was one thing. But, you know, I would say this. The injury happened on Wednesday, Bill, so he won't run some quarterback sneaks if he can't get under center. But the fact that it happened on Wednesday gave the coaches time to adjust their game plan. So if they have to put him in the shotgun the whole game, they can run almost everything from the shotgun. Why do I say that? Because weeks ago, they played against Jacksonville played against the San Francisco 49ers, and Jimmy Garoppolo was in the shotgun with 2 running backs. They did play actions. They ran the football, and we know the Patriots can adapt very well. The gloves for Tom Brady, rhythm, smooth thrower, shouldn't be a problem for him.
And that's it. It's throwing the ball. And if the ultimate concern is that right hand, what is he going to lean on? He's going to lean on his right-hand man, which is Rob Gronkowski, and he's looking for a 7 straight playoff game with the TD. But it's much more deeper than that. We're talking about what's going to happen in the passing game. You expect Tom to go deep, but what if he can't do that? What if that hand bothers him? Gronkowski is going to be that decoy. Even though he's a dominant tight end when catching the ball, he's also the most dominant decoy. So expect him to go on clear routes, fade routes, crossing routes in order to open up the underneath so he can nickel and dime and not use that hand too much.
I love the drama of all that. I'm going to wear gloves along with Tom Brady today. Matches my outfit, makes me look good, brings out the color. I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to affect him at all. I think it's actually going to be fine. And even though, and Tony brought this up, he hasn't played with the glove in over 15 years, these gloves are amazing now. You watch quarterbacks all the time throw with these, and you ask Kurt Warner, he'll tell you that these gloves made a difference for him and helped him get into the Hall of Fame. So I'm not worried about that at all. Now, on the other side, there is another quarterback. His name is Blake Bortles, right? Blake Bortles comes in here with just a mountain of pressure on these shoulders. He's handled himself so well over the last few weeks. And all I can tell you is that the good news for them is there is no wind in this stadium today. We saw him struggle in the win against Buffalo. I'm just telling you right now, this is perfect conditions to throw the ball for both of these quarterbacks.
All right. I thought Wish Boomer could wear a mask, too, with this plane. That would really work.
You'll have the mask on later.
Okay.
Coming up on the AFC Championship edition of the NFL Today. Something's got to give today in Foxborough as TB12 and his multiple weapons take on the Jags and their shutdown defense. Find out who the guys think will come out on top. Tom Coughlin has done it again, turning the Jags into a contender for the second time in his career. And after beating the Pats twice before in the Super Bowl, he just might be Tom Brady's kryptonite. After last week's miracle in Minneapolis, Case Keenum and the Vikes are flying high.
It's a Minneapolis miracle! No way!
But today, against Nick Foles and the Philly D, they'll need to be true road warriors if they want some home cooking in Super Bowl 52. All that and more when the NFL Today returns. The NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
Very sad.
Thursday on CBS, these NFL players have been selected to showcase their best talents off the field. Watch and vote live to decide who really is the MVP. That's the most valued performer. Coming up Thursday at 8, 7 Central, only on CBS. And folks, time now to go inside the pregame HQ delivered by Domino's. Coach, let's start with you as you give us the big picture on Tom Brady.
Let me just say this. We know it's an injury, okay? So you know that one thing you want to do is protect him. And what's the best way to protect him? Throw the ball quickly. So you got the quick game, you got the running game. I would not subject him to a pass rush that was #2 in the National Football League. Yeah. These guys can rush the quarterback, particularly in the middle of this pocket. And that's where Tom Brady likes and feels comfortable. So right now, if there's any questions about this, let him get into the game.
And there we are. There it is right there. Tom Brady coming out ready for the game.
No glove.
Absolutely. So with Tom Brady coming out on the field, again, our guys on the spot who know all of what's going on. Let's go back out to Jim Nance and Tony Romo.
So he enters Gillette Stadium without a glove on his throwing hand. It's bandaged. We've heard from Jay Feely that he's already gone through a warm-up just about 100 yards from here at their practice facility, their indoor practice facility. He is going to wear a glove during the game, but he comes onto the field without one. And Tony, what do you make out of that?
I'm anxious to see if it's over the thumb. The thumb matters if it's going to be on the ball. He obviously searched. We went through different gloves. He went through different things to figure out what felt best on his hand. I think that Tom Brady's going to be okay. The difference is you've got to see the velocity and you've got to see the ball come out of his hand. I know he was worried about that initially, you know, when we talked with him, and we're going to find out real fast, you know, how this ball comes out. I know it looks like he's okay, everyone, but we got to see it first. No one's actually seen it, and I know he was very worried early in the week.
Well, just look at the bandaging right there. The top of the thumb is fine and exposed. Got the bandings around the lower part of the thumb and around the webbing. And he's actually right now going to throw without the glove.
He's not going to wear a glove, I don't think, Jim. He's going to wear that. That's his glove for the game. Basically, it's probably protecting the stitches. So it's going to protect it so it doesn't continue to open the cut up, if that makes sense. I want to see the pull on the ball. The one thing you want to see is that he still has that, you know, ability that's rare almost to be deadly accurate on some of these intermediate throws over the ball. Perfect stride. He pulls the ball better than anybody.
We'll take a look here. There's his third throw.
We've never analyzed warm-up throws so deeply before, but we're about to right here. And you see the hand right there. As you see it, it's wrapped around that lower thumb area. And when we see the backside, the ball has to rest a little bit on it. Velocity looks looks fine. That part of it doesn't look like it's going to affect the ball a couple times. A hair of a sail for him, that's abnormal. I don't want to make too much out of a throw when you're warming up because sometimes the ball can wobble. Tom Brady, for everyone out there, you know, him and Aaron Rodgers are the two best throwers of the football in the National Football League. They have, you know, the ball comes out of their hand exactly the way you'd want to see if you're evaluating somebody. So if there's a little wobble today, that would be abnormal for Tom. That, you know, if you're getting a 90% time, you're still getting, you know, the best quarterback out there maybe. So I think today we're just going to see that he does the same thing over and over, and he's able to just not have pain when he lets go of that.
Just trying to get used to it, stretching it out. Now you also wonder, as you see now exactly what he's protected here, how much do you want to warm up? If you know, you're talking presumably stitches, do you want to go through as much of a warm-up as you normally would?
Yeah, you absolutely. He's going to want to warm this up a lot. Now, he's already been throwing. I promise you, he's been getting himself ready. He did the same thing on Friday, and he got better and better as the day went on. The big thing now is snaps. If he gets under center, you're going to see just a normal Patriot offense today. If he doesn't get under center, that's an issue.
All right, that's the latest here live from Gillette Stadium. JB and the crew, back to you in New York.
Hey, Jim and Tony, thank you so much. And, of course, we'll be coming back to you a little bit later in the show. Boomer, in our production meeting, that was exactly the point that you were making as well.
Yeah, can he stay under center or not? I got to tell you right now, I'm taking the glove off. Because this is the legend of Tom Brady, and it just adds to a whole nother thing. But here's the other thing. You have to remember that the defensive linemen of the Jaguars know what to be looking for. And don't think for a minute that they won't be going after that hand anytime they get close to him. And Phil, the other thing I would worry about is him holding on to the football when he is getting sacked and hit.
Yeah, good points made. I'm going to go back to what Coach said, throwing the football short. Nobody has more drive starters than the New England Patriots. In other words, gadgets, fake reverses, a fake run, then they throw a screen off of it. That's what they do really well. It's warm up there today. The footballs are really rubbed up. That's probably another reason why he's not wearing gloves.
And, Coach, you talked about it, protecting the quarterback by getting the ball out of his hand. What about when he's trying to protect himself? He takes a shot or he goes down to catch himself when he hits the ground. What happens when that adrenaline runs off and then in the second half he starts feeling that pain of that hand? That could be an issue.
I think Josh McDaniel, without a doubt, will be calling this game a little bit careful as it unfolds.
All right, Coach and fellows, thank you so very much for that insight. And no question about it, Tom Brady will start in his 12th AFC Championship game. And as Dwayne Johnson alluded to earlier in our Open, Championship Sunday, it truly is Tom's day.
Are you ready to go? 4 teams, 4 dreams. Championship Sunday. And 1 game from another Super Bowl for Tom. You know, the Super Bowl champion, Father Time Defiant, gets better with age and master of the game, who's beating the best of the best of the best, and even at his age never takes a rest. No. Wrong Tom. This time, Tom Coughlin. That's right. 2-time Super Bowl winning head coach Tom Coughlin, a.k.a. Baston's most wanted. Flashback. Super Bowl 42 on this third down play. Coughlin and his crew took New England's perfect season away. Then 4 years later in Super Bowl 46, again Coach and Eli pulled out all of their tricks. Payback for his 96 JAX Cinderella team when the Pats crushed their hopes and their Super Bowl dream. Now over 2 decades have gone by since that AFC title defeat, but now the Colonel's back in JAX in the executive seat. And later today in what we know will be a thriller, he brings a second-ranked defense and a real B-killer. It's Tom versus Tom in a game you must see. Can Coughlin take the crown from Tommy B? Is age 71 versus age 40? If age is just a number, it's a total non-story. But no matter what, it's a great debate. Yo, we on Coughlin time, people. So, hey, don't be late.
Hey, there's no question. Right. Giving him the name architect is fair, correct?
It is very fair. You get a coach that represents what you believe in. That's Doug Marrone. Your first pick in the draft, your 4th pick overall, is Leonard Fournette. What is that to establish? It's an identity around being tough on defense, offensive line, and running the football, and that's who they are.
Well, the great thing I think Jacksonville did this year, in the preseason, they went up and practiced against the New England Patriots. They won 3 games last year. The Patriots were Super Bowl champions, and they go, oh, my gosh, so they practice hard. And don't forget, Tom Coughlin brought in 3 guys, Calais Campbell, Barry Church, A.J. Bouye, all good players who were from playoff teams.
And in the playoffs, Tom Brady is 3-4 when hit 3 or more times, when sacked 3 or more times. And that is the secret recipe, right? Get to Tom Brady, try to get some hits on him.
You know, the thing about it is Doug Marrone is in this whole deal, the Belichick, Parcells, coaching tree and all that other stuff. And remember, Bill Belichick basically called Jacksonville twice and recommended Doug Marrone, and now he's got to go against him today in the biggest game of Doug Marrone's life.
That's right.
As we take a look at Blake Bortles and Tom Brady, Bortles would surely like to add his name along with the Jags to the short list of teams that beat the Patriots at home in the postseason, that is, as Bortles gets set to make his 3rd career playoff start. Now, his counterpart, of course, is TB12, who will start in his 36th playoff game. That's the most in league history. And for more on this matchup, here's Coach and Phil.
Yeah, thanks, JB. You know, Phil, so much criticism of Blake Bortles. So tell me, how have they gone to the AFC Championship game?
Well, he's played his part in it, but it's called a team game. How about that, Bill? Unique concept. Well, let me show you stuff about Blake Bortles. They need big plays. That's Marquise Lee coming in motion. Most of the time, they run all the way across the field. Not this time. He's going to pull up, and look, the safety is going to expect him to come across. He doesn't. He's wide open because of the play-action fake, and they get a big play out of it. Now they kind of switch it around, a different formation. Here's Keelan Cole going to go over the top. Look to the top. Joe Hayden thinks it's run. He waits too long to run back to the middle. Here comes the safety up to cover the tight end, and there's nobody deep, and Blake Bortles made a terrific throw right down the middle of the field. Now, the big guy can run. Over 400 yards this season for him rushing the football. A blitz by the Steelers. If you're going to play man-to-man, you've got to watch the mobile quarterback, and he did a great job seeing the man-to-man, got out and got a first down. So that tells you about Jacksonville's offense. Go ahead, shoot some holes in it.
Well, let me just tell you about the New England defense. When you look at them, it's a difference from the beginning of the season till the later part of the season. Weeks 1 through 4, they were giving up big plays. Points 31st, big plays 20-plus 30th, and they could not get after the quarterback. But from that time on, you see number 1 against points allowed. You see them getting sacks and not giving up big plays. Why? Because the communication's been better against his team right here. James Harrison, Patrick Chung in the box, 8-man front. Why? Just like last week, you have to stop the run in Leonard Fournette. And the other thing that's happened, it's a very simple passing game. You see they're talking about the bunch route. It gave them problems early in the season, but you see right there, they straighten it out, work their way through traffic. And you talked about what we saw Blake Bortles on 3rd down, extending drives. What did they do last week against Mariota? Same type of quarterback, can beat you with his legs more than his arm. Kyle Van Noy, watch him right here, spying the quarterback. There's nowhere for him to go. He ducks back, creates a sack. So you contain the quarterback, you stop the run, you don't give up the big play in the pass. That's the recipe to stopping this Jacksonville D offense and play a lot of man-to-man.
Sounds pretty good.
And now for more insight on this AFC Championship matchup, Jim Rome joins us with his views from Rome. Take it away, Jim.
Coach, thanks so much. Now, Tom Brady is dinged, but is there anybody outside of Duval County besides me who thinks that Jacksonville can shock the world? Mock the Jags all you want, but know this, they can do this. Super Bowl caliber defense, a battering ram in Leonard Fournette, and the ultimate X factor in Tom Coughlin. If no one else will go all in with the Jags, I will. Duval. Sure, I won't. Look, I don't know if Brady slammed his hand on a teammate's helmet or in his own car door. I just know he'll find a way. Just like we all know Bill Belichick will do what he always does, take away your biggest strength, Fournette, and make you one-dimensional, or in the case of Blake Bortles, half a dimension. Belichick has made some really good quarterbacks look really bad this time of year. It should not take too much to confuse Bortles. Pats 24, Jags 14. Nate, where do you come out?
Well, they say when in Rome, do as Romans do, or when with Rome, agree with what Rome says. Not now. I disagree with you. Okay. It's that Jaguars offense. It's the strength of that offense, which is Leonard Fournette. I'm looking forward to him controlling the ground. It's not when he has the ball in his hands. It's what they do in the play action. Blake Bortles this year, 10 TDs, just 2 interceptions off of play action alone. So imagine this. They control the ground first 2 quarters, and then they hit you with that dagger with a slight fake in the backfield, and they go right over the top to their playmakers, and that's what I'm looking for.
You know, you got to do this in Gillette Stadium, and Tom Brady in Gillette Stadium is virtually unbeatable. That's the difference between this and the Giants and teams that won in the Super Bowl. That was at a neutral site. The other thing I will say, you will see a hurry-up offense. You'll see a lot of personnel groups. You'll see a lot of substitutions. You will see no huddle at times. You better have your PhD hat on if you are a Jacksonville Jaguar defensive player. You can talk all you want. At the end of the day, it comes down to execution, reading your keys, and knowing exactly what's going on, and that's where the Patriots always have a major advantage in Gillette.
Great minds, Boomer. Thank you very much for having my back. If this thing turns into a chess match between Bill Belichick and Blake Bortles, my money is on the hooded chess master.
The NFL Today is sponsored by Verizon, the most awarded network ever. Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
As we get closer to kickoff, we check now back in with the guys in Foxborough who will be calling today's championship matchup, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
Well, JB, we've now had about 20 minutes to watch Tom Brady down on the field going through the warm-up. And, Tony, I'm going to defer to you one more time here. As a quarterback, would you be concerned about this right now, or does it look like business as usual for Tom Brady?
It looks like business as usual. I think you could tell he's constantly thinking about it. He's looking at his hand. He's kind of like flexing consistently. He's trying to get the feel down. Now, he's warmed up for a long time, Jim. He was out in that bubble. He threw a little bit, in the locker room, and then he comes out here. So you're seeing him after a good hour and a half already of really warming up. So I think he knows what it feels like. He's figured out the nuance of it. Now it's just got to go do it under duress against a really good defense.
By the way, there's another quarterback in this game. Blake Bortles is going to be the center of attention as well. When Jacksonville is out there on the field, it's the 6th ranked overall offense in the league, #1 rushing attack. But they've been turnover free as well during the postseason. Blake Bortles, what do you expect today?
The turnover free is everything. If Blake Bortles doesn't throw an interception, this team is really hard to beat. I'm not entirely sure they've lost this year. So the Jaguars play error-free football. They have a chance to win this game. That defense is outstanding. It's going to put pressure. Tom Brady's going to have to play good, even though the Patriots are, they're always going to win. But this is going to be a tough one.
All right. Anticipation definitely building as right now we send it back to you in New York, JB. We're ready to go here in just a few minutes.
I know you are, Jim and Tony, and we're looking forward to your call of the game. As a matter of fact, as the underdogs in last week's showdown against the Steelers, the Jags felt unmistakably a lack of respect. But after proving their doubters wrong, they headed to Foxborough to take on the defending champions with their confidence level as high as it's ever been.
And intercepted by Ramsey. Picked off Jalen Ramsey with the interception.
Fournette goes airborne. Touchdown, Jaguars.
Into the end zone.
The third of the day for Leonard Fournette. The Jacksonville Jaguars have pulled off the upset of the playoffs.
We still got 2 more games to play.
They're going home. They're going to have to watch us next week.
I was kind of wondering why they were so confident, because we stomped their last time.
They thought they were the bullies. No, we were the bullies today. Like we were the bullies last game. See y'all guys next year.
We have confidence in ourselves because we know how much hard work we put in. That's where the confidence comes from. The confidence comes from knowing how we all grind and how we play together.
Get after they ass. We gonna lock them down, y'all get after.
Swag that we have, we come from the youth of the team. The young guys bring the attitude of, the physical, the swagger. The old guys, they're trying to catch on from it right now. Talk about winning a whole lot more around here. We can beat a big dog in the AFC. We want to let them know it's new around here, something that's never been done. Trying to win it all.
We going to the Super Bowl, and we gonna win that.
Sometimes I say the stuff that people scared to say, and I don't take it back either. What y'all want me to say? I want me to say that we're going to go out there and try to win, and we might win, we might lose. Nah, I believe we will win it. The whole team, they feel that way. So I just said it. Why not?
Blake Bortles, the critics are always out there. It's been a little severe. He's going to have to play a perfect game against the New England Patriots if he's going to want to win in Gillette Stadium.
Blake knows through thick and thin we have his back. He's led us this far. We have belief in him. That's why sometimes, you have to be the bigger person, especially in his case, with taking a lot of criticism. Everybody has their role on the team. Everybody does their job on the team. That's how we've been successful in the past. At the end of the day, when we're doing things together, we're unstoppable.
That's a big challenge. They got very talented players on both sides of the ball.
This is an elite football team.
The offense is a problem, defense is a problem, special teams is a problem. They're good at everything.
They trying to blow smoke or gas us up or whatever they trying to do. I mean, I don't know. That's just, I guess that's who they are. And just like our team, who we are.
Jalen Ramsey's a good player.
The good Lord made that guy and he said, let there be corner. And there he is.
You can't gas up somebody who's already gassed up.
Let's go! Let's go!
I mean, that just feeds into what we're doing already. We still gonna grind, we still gonna get it, we gonna win it.
I'll tell you what, JB, I do actually love the Jaguars. Remind me of my 1988 Cincinnati Bengal team. A lot of personality. We had the SWAT team in the Yankee Shuffle, and they had a pretty good play-action quarterback back in the day as well. But there's Tom Brady taking a snap from underneath center. That was one of the big questions that Phil and I had, and he certainly answered that call right there. But again, I think Nate makes a very good point as he goes over to say hi to Mr. Kraft. Hi, Tommy. Go have a good game today. We'll see you afterwards. We'll have a good party, because that's usually what happens here. But Nate made a very good point. What happens when he goes to the ground? How about if somebody goes to high-five him? What happens if he gets hit or grabbed by Calais Campbell or an Ndakwe? I'm just telling you right now, a lot of things can happen here with his thumb in his hand.
Jalen Ramsey said they had swag. It ought to be Jags with an audacious gait.
You're right, exactly right. Well, Tommy's got some swag, too.
This is a very nervous crowd. They've seen this happen before in the past.
Let's go. He's going to score. Let's go. One play at a time.
10 seconds to go. 24-23 Saints. We need a Minneapolis miracle.
Here we go. This is when legends are made.
Over my head in a landslide. Can you pull me out?
Most amazing finishes in the history of the National Football League.
And there is no question that it has been an emotional week for the Vikings since the Minneapolis Miracle. And for more on that, let's go out live now to Philadelphia and welcome in our Jamie Erdahl. Hello, Jamie.
Hey, JB, you're right. There's no question it was an emotional week for the Vikings, but there's also no perfect answer for how a team is supposed to come down emotionally back to reality and really able to keep that emotion in check coming into the NFC Championship game. Now, we all saw those images of defensive end Everson Griffin stunned, speechless before that touchdown was completed. He actually told me that the feeling he will carry into this game is not one of elation. It's what he felt before that play was run, as if the Vikings season has been ripped out from underneath their feet, a season he called one of the most consistent. He is a member of one of the most powerful defenses in the league, which makes them the top dog to the Eagles' underdog. We've heard this theme from the Eagles all week long, so I tried to get the mask. It has sold out for the Eagles fans here, so JB, I guess I'm not an underdog. I'm going to call myself a top dog.
Okay. Oh, she's going to do it.
Oh, look at
Oh,
top dog. I would agree, Jamie. Thank you so very much and enjoy the game. All right, folks, let's send it over now to our guy, Jim Rome, for his take on the NFC Championship Showdown. Hello, Jim.
JB, thanks so much. You know, I still can't believe that the Vikes walked off on the Saints the way they did. They simply look like a team of destiny to me. And if they played this one on paper, I would take them all day long over Philly. But they're not playing it on paper. They're playing it at the Link in front of 70,000 fueled-up maniacs who've waited their entire lives for this, and many of whom will be rocking those dog masks, just as Jamie just mentioned. Look, I know I was the one who said right here several weeks back that if I had to pick Nick Foles or the field, I was taking the field. But that was before I knew he'd have 70,000 boozy German Shepherds behind him. Fly, Eagles, fly. I would love to be the guy to go against the chalk, but I simply cannot do it. Eagles win 21-17 and will take on the Pats, JB.
All right, Jim, thank you so very much for his always strong take indeed. All right, the Vikings and Eagles, two top-ranked Ds We'll leave it all on the line tonight. Which team will be left standing? We check in with our guy, Boomer.
I'm going to go with the cast-offs, and that's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. They do have the #1 defense in football, and they have been great all season long from start to finish. I'm telling you, if Carson Wentz would have gotten hurt, say, in week 8, week 9, the Philadelphia Eagles would not be in this situation. They caught a break. They have great fans. They have a great defense. But I'm just going to say this right now, that Minnesota definitely has the best defense in football.
For me, it's about the running backs. The Vikings are 12-0. When Murray and McKinnon go for 100 yards plus from scrimmage, I'm going with those guys, the Jet and Tay Train, taking me back to mini. Skol Vikes.
And Doug Peterson played a disrespect card. I've seen it done before at home 2 consecutive weeks. And you know what? For Nick Foles, don't turn the football over. Take some shots down the field. I think Philadelphia wins this game.
Well, I look at it this way. The Minnesota Vikings struggled in pass protection last week at home against the New Orleans Saints. Who are they going against today? This Philadelphia defense, the defensive line is deep. It's good. That's going to be the difference in the game.
Boy, the guys are strong with their takes. All right, for more news and notes, we welcome in our NFL Today insider, Jason Lockenfora, who has the latest on Case Keenum's future in Minnesota. Jason.
Well, JB, I'd be absolutely shocked if he is not hit with a franchise or transition tag. Spoke to a lot of GMs and agents this week, all who are going to be involved in what's shaping up to be a wacky quarterback market. They all say bank on it. He'll be tagged. JB, they've got no quarterbacks under contract for next year, and that franchise tag window opens in just a month.
Jason, thank you so very much. As we take a look at the respective team owners on the left, that's Shad Khan of the Jaguars, Robert Kraft, he's been there many times in the Patriots. Owners going at it. More coming up.
With one of the best Patriots offenses ever, the game plan is simple. 1, if by land. 2, if by air. The playoff picture is coming together. Watch it unfold. With a group of youngins this wild, it's always sunny in Saxonville. Get it? Power. The playoff picture is coming together. Watch it unfold.
The NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
Time now for the NFL Today Insight Center presented by IBM. Check out these numbers, folks. This is the 4th meeting since 1990 between the top-ranked passer in yards per game against the #1 pass defense in yards allowed per game. The Pass D, 3-0 in those games. The question is, will the trend continue today as Tom Brady faces off against the Jags' top-notch defense? All right, now the question on everyone's mind, who is going to play in Super Bowl 52? We start with the prescient one.
Oh, you want me to go first? Well, first off, I like the New England Patriots today, the emotional defense of the Jaguars. You heard me talk about down in Philadelphia. I like the Philadelphia Eagles because this crowd noise is going to affect that offensive line.
What?
I'm not as pretty as Jamie Erdahl, and Boomer couldn't get this on his big head. So I'm going to go. Oh, there we go. I lost part of it. I'm going with the Eagles.
Hey, Phil, that's the best you looked all season, man.
Yeah, thank you. I agree.
You know, Phil, just looking at you, can you leave that on, please, for a second?
Please,
I just want to talk about the Eagles, and they are underdogs.
This is a pug.
It is. I know it's a pug. But I will say this. One thing about the New England game, a couple of things right here. I think it's going to be really important for Jacksonville if they're going to have success in this game. Blake Bortles going to have to complete balls against man-to-man defense and convert third downs.
I got the Vikes and I also have the Jags. This game's going to come down to a 2-minute drill with Tom Brady and the ball in his hand. And I think that Jacksonville defense is going to step up. And I can't stop Coughlin. Tom Coughlin.
I got the Pats and the Vikes. See you in Minneapolis in 2 weeks.
It is game time. AFC Championship game next.
40 years, Daddy.